Now I want to go ahead and add a few effects to these pictures. So this is more of a graphic thing. First, I want to make sure I have them all laid out and aligned properly. So how do you align things? Let's start with these pictures right here. The first thing I need to do is I need to get this picture aligned with the picture to the right. These are basic design elements that are helpful to making a good layout and helpful for user viewing. Easier to look at things if they seem to be in connection with each other. So to align something, you hold Shift and grab both of them. You then go to the Align tool, and I want to align these on the top. Usually, whichever picture you pick first, the second picture will align to that. That is not always the case, but usually. Okay, so in this instance, my picture actually moved up. So I'm going to use the arrow keys on my keyboard to move that picture downward. Then what I want you to do with these pictures on the left is I'm actually going to ask you to align them evenly. You want to make sure all of them are in the blue arrow when you're using the Align tool, making sure they have the blue bounding box, not the yellow bounding box. Now I'm going to align these by saying distribute spacing, which means they're going to be evenly spaced out instead of having the two ones up higher. Okay? So now I have evenly aligned these. That means simply I need to keep my text or my title over to this side. If you liked the way the text went underneath this picture, then go ahead and just move it back up. Okay? You also want to check to make sure if you've had to use more than one picture, I want you to make sure that these two are aligned. Okay? And they should be the same height. You can see that up here on your toolbar. Let me change this to inches. Okay, I want to take these three pictures and I want to align them across the top. Again, I have to make sure they're all in their blue bounding box. Okay, so there was a slight shift there, but essentially they're already lined up. When you get to the text portion, you want to make sure that your text is aligned with your pictures. This is just good, basic layout design. Okay? Now, I'm going to hide my frame edges because I would like to give these a little bit of an outline. Okay? You can choose a basic black outline. You can choose to add effects to it, or you can give the outline a color. Maybe the color that you're going to add for that graphic box in the corner. But whatever you choose, make sure that it's enhancing your pictures. Anytime something takes away from the pictures you see, it's not worth doing or using. Okay, so if your pictures look better without these outlines or these effects, then please take them off. But I want you to know how to do them. So I'm not going to add an outline to this picture over here because I'm going to do something special with that in a few minutes. I'm going to simply select all my pictures by holding Shift. Right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give them a simple outline. I think that sometimes that's all it needs is just an outline. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to change it from black. I'm going to make my outline the color of what I'm going to make this graphic in the corner. And I'm going to go ahead and choose my dropper over here. I'm going to grab this red color. All right? I think that red color will work well. And I'm going to bump it up to 2. Okay? I think it works well with all of my pictures, and it enhances this red color over here, so I'm going to go ahead and keep it. What I would like for you to do with that red color is I would like you to make a swatch, okay? Especially if you want to use that color again on this top graphic. And it's very simple to make a color swatch. You simply go to swatches, and in the bottom, you give it a little, a new swatch, which is the square with an upturned corner. And then you want to double click on it and rename it. Okay? Sorry, don't double click on it. Just, I guess you can't rename it. So never mind. Just make sure you know that that's the one that you would like to use. Cool. You can rename it. So what I would like you to do is after you have chosen a color for the outline, or if you have chosen a color for the outline, I want you to make a swatch. So if you just used a black outline, then go ahead and make a new swatch anyways, so that you know how to do it. I've chosen this red color, and I know that I'm going to want to use that red color for that graphic that I put in the corner. So I'm going to come over to swatches, and I'm simply going to make a new swatch. Okay? That swatch, to rename it, you hover over it and click once, and then you can give it a name. So I'm going to give it, I'm going to call it deep red. That's just my way of knowing. You can call it anything. You can just call it your name if that makes the most sense. Or you can call it Ethiopia magazine layout. Whatever you feel like you'll remember so that you can grab it quickly when we add that graphic portion. Okay, last thing I'm going to do with these pictures is add an effect. And I may add this effect to all of them and then go back and decide it doesn't really work on any of them, or maybe it only works on a few of them. You should know how to get to the Effects tab by right-clicking. I'm going to go with an effect that I often like to use. I'm just going to for this tutorial. And I can make it feather more. I'm watching the pictures up there, making sure by the feathering them, I'm not making any of them look bad or taking away from what I'm trying to show. I'm adjusting those. I'm going to adjust this slightly. So go ahead and add an effect, and if you don't like it, all you have to do is right click, go back to effects, and then uncheck it. Okay, so if you do it and you don't like it, it's very simple to get rid of them. Alright, the last picture we're going to address is this one on the left. Now, there are faster and better ways to cover up this background information, but those require you to use Photoshop, and I don't want to introduce that program just yet. So I'm going to show you kind of a cheater way of covering up this background information. If you chose a very complex building, then do the best you can. Just don't spend a ton of time on this. It's not crucial that you cover up that background. In fact, I could just leave the picture the way it is with that square. And if you're getting towards the end of class and you need to move on to the text portion, then that's what I'd suggest you do. But I would like each of you to try this if you have text. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab the pen tool, okay? And we're going to draw kind of a shape around this, and we're just going to give it a white fill color to basically hide that area. So it's very simple with the pen tool. What you want to do is you want to click anytime you see an intersection. Now notice I'm not trying to accommodate the shape of the roof. I'm just getting the very basic shapes. And I'm just clicking, and then I go to the next intersection. Again, if yours is really complex, do the best you can. Just try it and see where you get. So all I'm doing is tracing the basic shape, and I'm going to come all the way down and cut out everything except for this one step. And I'm just following anytime I see an intersection. I'm following. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come and I'm going to trace around the background information. So I'm going to the right. I'm going to come all the way up here to the top, and I'm going to come over to the corner. Remember, we're essentially trying to cover up that background. Then I can come over here, I can make my outline nothing, and I can go ahead and make that fill color. I'm going to make it the page, the paper space. Okay? And then what I will do is I'm actually going to click on that white box, and I'm going to say arrange, I'm going to say lock, just so that I don't mess around with it. So there I have a basic blocking is essentially what I'm doing. I'm just hiding that background. So go ahead and try that. See if you like it. If you don't like it, you can always unlock the white space and just delete it. But that is a way of using the pen tool to give you a more unique shape to your pictures and not just straight squares or circles.